Hi, I'm Alan Ning. I was Zorianna Kit, and today we review Playing God. This is one of those con movies. Alan Tudyk plays a father who lost his daughter and wife in a tragic accident, and now he wants to find God and ask him some serious questions. We have Hannah Kasulka, who plays Rachel, and Luke Benward, who plays Micah, and they are con artists who are going to steal money from this man, this very rich man, and by giving him God. So yeah, this is an interesting movie because it's kind of got the con genre going on at the same time. It's got a very religious and theological tone to it. With when God, who is played by Michael McKean, or at least Frank, who plays God, comes into the picture, and our con goes full force. What did you think of Playing God?
I feel like this movie vacillated between two genres and should have maybe picked one. It's billed as a comedy.
It's not a comedy.
It's not. It's not a comedy. It has a it has a fun element to it when the two siblings are engaging in their cons and things like that. But when there are these very serious moments where Alan Tudyk, who plays a eccentric billionaire, who thinks he's having a meeting with God, and he's asking God why he lost his daughter, and they're having a really heartfelt conversation about why God takes people away and ends their lives when these lives are still so young and forming. So
yeah, I should probably mention that the second half of the movie is this theological battle. It's the idea of why do bad things happen to good people, and it poses a question: if God allows evil in the world, is he evil himself, or is he apathetic and just doesn't care what happens to people? And that's just kind of the second half discussion, or that's the second hand debate that kind of goes on in the
but
film.
It's a debate that's never resolved because it kind of gets upended by the con that's going on. So I found the shift of, oh, hey, there's a con happening. He's got his whole team that's creating this whole God thing, doves flying and this, that, and the other. And then we shift to, hey, God, why did you take my young daughter away? Why would you do that? It was just not happening for me. And it was really hard to go along with the flow because I felt like that flow was constantly being interrupted. I think that the biggest hurdle is making the audience believe that a tech millionaire or billionaire would actually fall for two 20-somethings telling him that the person they are presenting him is God. Like, would that really happen?
Well, I think the beginning of the movie sets that up, where he's kind of going on a ayahuasca binge, and he's going to various religious centers and historical landmark or religious landmarks to find God. And so I think that was enough to kind of say, okay, maybe they can plausibly pull off the con. I think I like this movie a lot better than you did. But to me, it was like that first half of the movie where the con is set up and kind of goes into emotions. It felt kind of like I've seen this before. It's fairly light. There's the other evil, bad guy who puts the pressure on the twins here, the con artist twins to kind of lift up the stakes to where they have to come up with a lot of money fast. But then, to me, once Frank shows up as God and he meets Ben, and then they start having this conversation, this theological conversation, that's when I start getting engaged because, this is something that I've wrestled with. I think I first wrestled with it maybe 20 years ago because it was, I'm in college and I'm naturally skeptical and curious, and so I had to wrestle through a lot of this, and and I did appreciate the debate that went on, because you do have two sides, and I will say, in terms of films that have dealt with this subject, I've seen both ends of the spectrum, from the faith-based to the the atheist perspective, and this one seems to be a little more palatable, in the sense of they're more or less expressing the ideas and the points of this debate in ways that that people really do think about it, and they don't answer the question, but they take it in an interesting direction.
Well, but that's the thing. Those were the scenes between Frank pretending to be God, talking to a very hurt man, and even the scene towards the end where
God does the Hail Mary.
The one of the siblings is supposed to channel his dead daughter, and they're having this conversation, which was also very powerful. I wanted more of that. I wanted the movie to go deeper into that, and instead, just as you were going, wow, this is powerful, great, then it would be like, cut to someone's coming, or stop the con, or wait, we're having an issue here, cut it. And then all of a sudden you're back in this sort of con, funny haha moments that just kind of go, oh man, why'd you have to go there?
Let me tell you why I was okay with that, because I think they took the debate to its furthest point possible, to where they didn't have to answer. And I think it's a good thing that they chose not to answer the question, but to rip apart the question enough in the film to say, okay, here's the points. Now you go kind of make a decision, and it does kind of go off in a Hallmark direction. But I did appreciate that. I do like the fact that they didn't necessarily take a standpoint, although they clearly did lean in one direction. But they weren't there to say this is the answer to this debate, because quite frankly, there's no answer that's going to satisfy anybody.
Yes, I understand that. And also, to give an answer is to imply that is God's answer.
Or not God's answer.
And Frank is not God. He's a con man pretending to be God. So he certainly can't do that. So I get that. But I was so thoroughly enjoying those moments. They felt really special to me. And I was just bummed that I wanted that to continue. And I just felt like I would get pulled out of that, because the movie would switch tonally again. And that yo-yoing was just not for me. It kept me engaged in the movie, meaning I didn't want to turn off the film. I didn't want to stop watching it, because I was engaged throughout, but I wanted to be more. I wanted to be more into it.
Yeah, I think what really worked in this movie to me, we both like the debate between God / Frank and Ben, and that's just really a testament to the acting abilities of Michael McKean and Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
And I do appreciate the fact that these are two comedians, and I feel like only comedians really could have pulled off these roles in a way that just felt right and felt plausible. Because you have Alan Tudyk, who plays a father who's earnestly searching, and then you have Michael McKean playing God / Frank, who is a con artist pretending to be God, and you really do kind of get that sense, and you do get a sense. I've seen a lot of these shyster psychics and mediums, enough to know that he's really doing a great acting job here, and you can tell that he's not pretending to be God. He's a con artist conning under the guise of God.
Yes, ironically, not ironically, but ostensibly, the film's stars, the two leads would be the brother and sister, those two actors, and Alan Tudyk and Michael McKean would be technically supporting characters. But the truth is, those two are the movie. This movie would not be palatable or heartfelt in those moments without Michael McKean and Alan Tudyk in those roles, without them being in this movie. In the hands of somebody else, it would have not been the same. And their fabulousness really relegates our two leads, which are the two actors that play the siblings. It relegates them a little bit more to the side into more of the supporting roles.
Although I will say that Hannah Kasulka, I like the fact that she carried a lot of the emotional weight in this movie. And I think it definitely paid off in the end.
I think you like this. Well, it's clear you like this movie a lot more than I did. And you didn't mind the tonal shifts. I feel like everything worked there for you. I think you gave this movie an 8 or an 8.5.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. I mean, I do, it's like when we get into these movies that kind of challenge religion, I'm always hesitant. And even on the other side where it becomes overly faith-based, it's like, well, it just feels like it's done out of anger or it's done, to proselytize. And I like the fact that they kind of went straight for the debate here. And again, Alan Tudyk and Michael McKean are the reason to see the movie.
Yes.
And, and so I forgave, the con part, we've seen better. I'd rather watch Ocean's 11.
I know.
But again, it's that debate that makes this movie. So clearly you didn't like it as much as I did. You didn't like the tonal shift. You did appreciate the performances. But, I think you wanted much more of that debate than the con. So I'll say you gave it a 6.5.
Yes, I did give it a 6.5. I didn't want to go as low as 6 because of Michael McKean and Alan Tudyk, but it really, for me, the tonal shifts really I feel like there is such a great movie in there, and this was not quite there. So 6.5.
Yeah. Well, you have to appreciate the fact that they put everything into this indie film. They put their acting skills to good use.
Mm-hmm.
And
they
there's
hired the right people and probably paid those two the right amount of money as well.
Yeah, or maybe the story interested them and they want to do a good job. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below on what you thought about Playing God. And with that, let's get out of here.